G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Thanks for watching Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're going to be looking at one of the best SBS tanks you will ever see. Everything with this tank is popping, the acros are doing great, the colours are good, the filtration's excellent, the water movement's good, but there's one thing that's letting this tank down, and that's the lighting system. So today we're going to show you how we're going to improve the lighting system to make it the best lighting system we can possibly have for this awesome tank. So let's check it out. So we installed this tank 2 years ago, and as you can see, everything's doing great. This tank is 7 feet long by 2.5 feet wide by 2.5 feet high. So it's around about 1,000 litres or 250 gallons. There's 4 wave makers on this tank, 2 Gaias and 2 Rosemonts, and the rock that we've used to scape this tank is the real reef rock. There's really interesting pieces with the branching rock, the base rock, and the aquascape in this tank is sensational. And whilst we did the aquascape, the client has actually been really good with this tank, and he's positioned a lot of the corals in their places. And as you'll see in a second, some of these acros are sensational pieces. So let's just have a quick look at the corals before we go and look at the lights. So as you can see, in this bottom corner, we have some beautiful scrolling Monties. So there's the green and the purple, and the position that they're in is absolutely perfect. And as you move up across the rockwork, there's all these little colonies of acro, different colors next to each other, so that there's great contrast in the coloration of these corals. And some of the pieces have been positioned in the perfect spot where they're coming horizontally out of the rockwork. So we also have the bird's nest, which almost looks like it's suspended there the way that it's glued onto the rock. There's the large turban coral. There's the occasional LPS. We've got a Lobo at the back there, but this tank is predominantly acro with some Monty as well. There's really nice yellows and blues, all sorts of colors of acro in this tank. We've specifically gone for a lot of tabular type acros, and probably my favorite acro in this whole tank is this huge colony of pink tabular acro at the top. It really finishes off the structure, creates a beautiful top. So this is pretty much the acro. This is what we're working with. We need to ensure that these acros have got the best lighting possible. So now let's have a look at the reason why we're here, the lighting system, and I'll show you the mess that we're working with. So even though we've had this tank running for 2 years, you can see that we've never finished off the lighting system. This tank has got an awesome customized bar system that comes up and out across the tank so that we can suspend the lights from it. However, at the moment, we just have this AI light rail, which has been zip tied to the custom bar, and we've really just got them hanging in all sorts of unusual manners. So today, what I want to do is have each of these lights on the rail, and most importantly, the rail on a suspension kit so that we can raise and lower the lights so that we're getting the best spread and the best intensity of light, and so that we're maximizing the use of these 6 AI Hydra 52 hyperdrives. So I'm going to take these 2 middle lights down first, and this is a good example of how we've really left this lighting system a little bit unfinished. And so I'll just turn this off. I'm going to take them down so I can put the slide kit on them so I can attach these lights to the main rail. But the way I'm going to take them off, I'm just going to twist. Oh, That bit of metal there. All right, and that's it. I'll put this here and grab the other one. So the idea of this, what we call a slide kit, is it will attach onto the light and allow us to attach the light unit onto the rail, and the light will be able to spin as much as we want so that we can angle it to the best way that suits the tank. But I have to take off these parts. Okay, so this will slide onto the rail with that little nut, and that is what we need for both of them. So let's do this one. Okay, so now all 6 of the Hydras have got their slide kit attached. Now we have to look at how we're going to suspend the rail from that top bar. So I was half hoping to be able to leave the lights in place whilst I drop the level of this rail. It doesn't seem I'm going to be able to do that, so I'll take all the lights down, and that way I'll find it a little bit easier to play around with this rail. So the suspension kit that we have to drop the height of this rail requires these pieces of cabling, which are unfortunately a little bit longer than we had thought. Now, because we cannot raise this bar up, what we're actually going to do to shorten the length of the cabling is we're going to spin it around this bar 3 times. 2, 3. And this will provide us with the perfect height. And then all we need to do is tidy this up so that it's nice and neat. It's always important when you're working above a tank with metallic objects that you don't drop anything in the tank. Okay. So I'm just going to tighten these up to ensure that they don't fall off, and you get a little Allen key with this rail kit, and I also want to ensure that it's all straight and even. Now, you might notice that this rail is longer than our bar up the top here. However, we want to have the maximum length of the rail so that we've got a lot of option with exactly where we put our lights. So we have our rail in place, and now we're going to put our Hydra 52 hyperdrives onto the rail. And we just have this little nut that fits into the groove like so, and then we slide it along. There's the first one. Alright, and I'll put 2 from the other side. So you'll notice that I've got the power supply ports on the same side. Hopefully that'll make it look a little bit neater when we plug them in. And we have 2 lights in each of the 3 sections of openness on the tank. So this way we'll minimize the amount of light that's lost through the bridge on the top of the tank. So we've placed our lights in position and we've worked out exactly where we want them to be. So now we're going to secure them so that they sit square. Now there's a bit of a trick when you secure the Hydras onto the light rail, and the way you do it is you apply a little bit of pressure in a downward manner, twist the unit anti-clockwise, and what this does is it allows for the nut to actually continue on with the thread, and so it will tighten so that it's perfectly firm. So with these ones, you can see we haven't done these yet, they're still loose, but this is how we want them, perfectly firm and locked into position, so this is perfect. So we now have our 6 Hydra 52 hyperdrives perfectly positioned above the tank. Each of these lights can be adjusted if we choose, we can spin them around. However, based on the dimensions of this tank, side by side, 6 across is going to be sensational. So we'll put the pelmet back on and see how the whole tank looks. So our lighting system is now complete on this tank, and I think you'll agree you couldn't possibly get a better lighting system for a tank of this size. So we'll bring you more updates of this tank in the future, and we'll do an episode of epic tanks and why they work, and we'll show you all of the filtration, the water flow and the water chemistry and the reasons why this tank works so well. So thanks for watching Gallery Aquatica TV today. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!
So that's our video for today. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe as well. We'll be putting out videos every week showing a new tank with new products. There's going to be lots in all the videos. I'm Cam the Fish Guy, and keep on reefing.